Casey was raised to lie. This child, who at 8 years old, learned to lie immediately.
Now for what's trending in true crime. Have legal problems? Well, Casey Anthony wants to help. Yeah, you heard me right. The Florida woman who was accused of murdering her daughter Kaylee and then acquitted has joined TikTok to promote her legal advocate role.
I am a legal advocate. I am a researcher. I've been in the legal field since 2011. And in this capacity, I feel that it's necessary, if I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate, that I start to advocate for myself and also advocate for my daughter. I'm doing this both personally for me, but in a professional capacity. My goal is to continue to help give a voice to people, to give people tools and resources that they can utilize so they actually know where they can turn to.
What do you think about this? Hit us up on social media. Let us know. We're asking our power panel the question, why would anyone ask Casey Anthony for legal help? Let's bring in our guest. With me, former homicide prosecutor and the co-host of The True Crime Show, Mondays with Melba Pearson, private investigator Manuel Gomez, and national parenting and family relationship expert, psychologist Dr. Sue Kornbluth. Good morning to you all. I know you all have a lot to say. Dr. Sue, you and I were talking a little bit yesterday. I want to start with you. Would you kick off our conversation on Ms. Anthony, please?
I mean, first of all, I think her channel should be How to Get Away with Murder instead of promoting herself as a legal advocate. And by the way, she anointed herself a legal advocate, analyst, or whatever she is calling herself. Look, to me, this is very simple. This young lady, or woman as of now, is somebody that just craves and craves attention and needs to be the center of the world at times. This is embarrassing, and I think the panel will agree with me that what she's doing is not only embarrassing, it's also a way for her to show how narcissistic she is.
You know, I wondered that, Dr. Sue. As I was watching that video, I probably watched it 4 or 5 times yesterday. Honest to goodness, I couldn't even believe my eyes. And I kept thinking, is she a narcissist? I wanted you to answer that question on the show. I know you haven't personally evaluated her how we wish you could, but based on what you've seen some traits there, huh, Dr. Sue?
I see many traits. Now, of course, you know, nobody's done an analysis of her, but she craves and craves attention, and not in great ways. You know, everything is centered around her. Seems that her ego is larger than life. I mean, she has some qualities of a histrionic personality as well that needs to be the center of the world. Look, I think the people that are following her, you know, she wanted attention. The world gave her attention. I think she had over 2-point-something million views yesterday. But what she's doing is actually self-destructive, and it's going to hurt a lot of people. And I think the people following her are laughing at her, or either following her because they've done things in their lives that they're not accountable for. And she got away with murder. I think we all understand this, and she should just go away and live her life and stop coming to the forefront.
Dr. Sue, thank you for all of that. Melba Pearson, you practice in the state of Florida. You're a professor there, been a prosecutor there for many years. Your thoughts on Ms. Anthony?
First of all, good morning, everyone. And this is just utterly disgusting. Let's just start with that. This is an insult to the memory of this poor, beautiful child who should still be with us today. You know, I agree that she should be like, whew, I got away with murder, and keep it moving and never be seen again. But another thing I want to point to, though, is that there is a law called unauthorized practice of law. So if she gets too close to giving legal advice without actually being an attorney, which she is not, that is something that she can be prosecuted for.
Yes.
So she better be very, very careful with the comments and the quote-unquote advice she's going to give, because she can find herself back in the slammer. And guess what? All the receipts will be on TikTok, and she will face accountability for that.
Oh, Melba Pearson, you always have great analysis for us. You know what? That is so brilliant. Thank you for that. I haven't heard anybody anywhere say that. And you're right. So the unauthorized practice of law is a problem. And sometimes, I know I've experienced it when I've seen it happen with paralegals, for instance, sometimes when I was working in the courthouse, who would push the limit. They would do things that they knew only the attorney they were working for should do. And, you know, and it's one of those things, it can be reported, and big problems can flow therefrom. So thank you for that. She's not an attorney. Melba, thank you so much. Manuel Gomez, last but not least, I want to get your thoughts. You're actually down in Florida right now working another case for your company, Black Ops Private Investigators. What do you think about Ms. Anthony reemerging for the world to see?
Well, on this case, I did a lot of analysis, especially with my colleague, investigator Kirsten, and I find it appalling that this person is going to give legal advice who has no moral compass, and that they made a law called the Kaylee Law because she didn't report her child missing. Come on, we're going to take advice from a mother that didn't report her child missing, that the grandmother had to report her. And on top of that, you know, her case proves, like my colleague said, she got away with murder because it was circumstantial, the evidence. The evidence was overwhelming, showing that her child was murdered by a loved one, just like in the baby Evelyn case, Julie, when the baby was wrapped in a blanket. In this case, in the Kelly case, the baby was wrapped in a blanket, put duct tape over her mouth, and with a heart on it, showing that there was, even though the child was murdered, but there was still love involved, proving that this was done by a loved one. And the fact that she went partying and did all these things, she is no example for anyone to follow. Like my partner said, Kirsten, and that is, there is a warm spot in hell waiting for her.
I love the analysis you all have given. Manuel, thank you for that. Let's talk some more, right? So it seems like America was uniting yesterday as soon as this video came out, and everybody seems to agree on Casey Anthony going to have a seat somewhere. Take a look.
If you find yourself in court and Casey Anthony shows up to be your lawyer, you might just want to slap the cuffs on now.
What?
I feel that
Women's rights. Oh, right. I'm not gonna, Kaylee Anthony is my daughter, and then her you mean was, right? You mean was? Did you forget what you did? You forget what made you famous?
Now she's trying to use social media to rebrand herself as a legal advocate. Apparently, she's been in the legal field since 2011, since she went on trial for The Thing. Yep, I feel like we're all being gaslit.
Oh, I could watch those all day. All right, but we have a timed segment here, so let's get to our next question. Can Casey Anthony ever escape her past? Dr. Sue, back to you.
No, I don't think so, Julie. I mean, she is deemed a baby killer, I think, by the world. And I don't think that the world here is very forgiving of her. You can see that on social media. She is a pathological liar. And anybody that is watching this, please don't give her the attention and follow her. That is what she is looking for. At the end of the day, there was so much evidence that she hurt her child and probably killed her.
Dr. Sue, thank you for that. Melba Pearson, to you next, please.
I don't even know where to go with this. I'm just so beyond disgusted. And, at the end of the day, I did not have on my 2025 dance card that Casey Anthony would be the thing to bring this country together. I just did not have that on my dance card at all.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
Well said, Melba. Manuel Gomez, take us home if you would, please. Can this woman ever escape her past?
Casey is branded with an X on her forehead, just like Cain and Abel. Okay, she's permanently there. No one will forget. And like my colleague said, there is no doubt in my mind that her narcissism is going to cause her to overstep her bounds and give legal advice. I look forward to the day that she is incarcerated.
Manuel Gomez, it may happen. Who knows? We shall see where she goes next. You know, she's young. She's got a lot of years left. And I think if she wants to go help, she should do it quietly, without looking for attention, without looking for praise. Do the good work when no one is looking.